Good evening, everyone. How's everybody doing tonight? Yeah, I know. We got a little late, sure. Go ahead, tell me. I know. Very gay. Very gay, very much Nick. 'Tis what it is. Stuff happened. Oh, stuff happened. It's okay. It's all okay. So how you say, before I ask how everybody's doing, let's see if anybody actually gets in here yet. Yes, Jasoon, Manad, Jack, Bass, how you doing? Hello, 4M. We got a whole party here so far. Everybody's having a good night so far, getting ready for their weekend. I know tomorrow's Friday, so it's always a good thing too. It's one of the great things about this show. It's, you're having a crappy time. Hey, you know what? It's already going to be Friday before you know it. So it's a great way to start the weekend off. In fact, I think I said this before. It's kind of one of my favorite nights because it's not the weekend yet, but it's coming, and it's usually not too bad at that point. So. Rob, yeah, long time no see. Yes. Yeah, Mindset's not having a good time. Mindset got a strike. I don't know what for yet. I've not heard, and I don't know what it was about, but it's probably safe to say that, actually, frankly, likely it's bullshit given that it's YouTube. He just did a, raising money for veterans stream, so I can't imagine it was too bad. So who knows what exactly it was. So, are you kidding me? My Darrell Brooks stream got... Oh, that's chicken shit. I got copyright notice for, I guess, some of the shitty music videos I played. Oh, well. They said violence on his copyright cuck video. Oh, that's... Oh, that's nonsense. That is absolute nonsense. That is absolute horse crap. What happened? Oh, that's just nonsense, Corn. They're going after people that were on the veteran stream. Hey, you know what? YouTube's a corrupt piece of crap, so of course they do. Mr. Squiggle says maybe Nick popped onto his stream. They thought Nick's nose was a penis. That could have happened. Very much so. Yes, the Math Boy 5 videos caused you to get a strike, Tweety? Maybe the same for Mindset? I didn't get a strike for him. I just got a copyright notice. So my stream is not struck. I just got a notice that right now it's demonetized, which, that's not the end of the world, but that still sucks. So, yeah, Brooks wants his 5 cents. Well, I'm thinking the people that wasted their 5 cents on filming him want their money back. So, and speaking of oh, hold on, I gotta do something here. Hold on, Parallax. There we go. That is pinned, man. Got you. Jim, I think you might be right there. Obviously, I think there's some I think it's best the way to say it. There is some shadow warfare going on YouTube, and I'm not surprised by that. I guess at the end of the day, Cool Frog got kicked off out of nowhere, so They struck Ask a Mortician. I've actually watched that channel once in a while, Sweet Tooth. That is very yeah, I've actually gone on there before. Yes, the graphic content was newspaper articles from the early 1900s. They're going to start getting more aggressive the closer we get to the midterms. Yeah. Yep. Bifron says, Armona says, Brooks needs that commissary money. Yep. Got to get that commissary money, yo. Well, I guess I would say here's some money that Darrell Brooks can get. Tonight's a good night for a nice White Claw, and to drink that White Claw, to drink it out of something I think very apropos given the Darrell Brooks trial. And that is a Brooks Coffee Company out of Waukesha, Wisconsin, coffee mug, serving relevant ground since 2022. If you guys want one, you can find it at my link below in the merch. You can also get a Yeti tumbler, have a cold drink or a hot drink, or if you just like a nice pint glass, you can get one of those as well. I'm roboting. Anyone who speaks plain English and doesn't start their video with, "Hey, it's your boy," gets a strike. Well, I guess I'll do it. "Hey, it's your boy." TC is explaining. I am working with somebody else to come up with something different, guys. They're the only one I could find quickly, and I wanted something done right now. So I was trying to strike while the iron was hot. Was that an open intoxicant in the can? Edgecombe needs to know. Yes, it was. But unlike those heathens, only the best, the natural lime White Claw. It's the only White Claw. It's a superior White Claw. It's a White Claw of educated people. It'd be nice to have a White Claw emoji. I know we need to fix that. Mr. Squiggle says, did I wash the mug yet? No. I washed it out with some alcohol, so it's good. Alcohol sanitizes? What are you talking about? Rob saying I have good access to Printful for what it's worth. Yeah, I looked at them, but I may have found somebody through Etsy who actually is about the same turnaround time as they're like 4 or 5 days turnaround time to get things out the door and shipped, but they're far, far cheaper, and they're through Etsy. They seem to be pretty good. I really like what they've got going on, so it's a lot cheaper. And obviously that means less for me, but I'd rather sell like 1 million of these and let everybody actually want one to get one and go from there. Eric Foam says, with LawTube striking all the bully channels down? Might be. I guess that means they're coming for me at some point. Oh, well. Bring it the fuck on. You better fucking come heavy. That's all I got to say. Dewey's, hey, how you doing? Says, Brooks should try sending an invoice to the prosecutor's office. He's done as much to convict his ass as any of the prosecutors. Yes, he has. Daniela says, the Fox Milwaukee did a video of Kirby after being on the stand. We'll have to check that out in a second. We will, so we're well into it, guys, now. So, hey, welcome, everybody. Yes, Darrell Brooks. Oh, yes, our little Darrell. Darrell. My God, man. Holy Jesus Christ. Well, if you weren't aware, our brave little Darrell decided he was going to represent himself, and I'm sure you already knew that. But today, he got to represent himself and do an opening argument. Now, some of you might be wondering, how does that make sense? And traditionally, yes, at the beginning of the trial, you have both the prosecution and the defense give their opening statements or opening arguments, however you wish to phrase it. Typically, that's done, and then the prosecution goes first. The prosecution goes first, then the defense goes. And then this part here is the trial. Typically, you do it then to counter, but it's also the way it's standardly done. Now, there are deviations from that. One of the things you can do is also waive your opening arguments. you wouldn't really do this. The only times I've done it is with a bench trial because I don't need to give the judge an opening idea of what's going to happen. We just present the evidence and then we make closing arguments. But you can. What happened in Darrell Brooks's case was he did something that is acceptable. It is an acceptable tactic, but it's not done quite a lot. Darrell Brooks decided to wait. In fact, you are allowed to give your opening argument at the beginning of your case in chief. So for Darrell Brooks, it's after the prosecution rest. So today, the prosecution rested, and then Darrell Brooks gave his opening argument. And it's actually no different than if he had done it at the beginning, but it does give you some advantages. Number one, you've already seen what the prosecution has presented. So you can kind of pick and poke at that and highlight it. Number two, it also prevents a prosecutor from having a full idea of what you're arguing, what your theories of something might be, so that they can't try to poke holes in it too early. Now, remember the prosecutors have the rebuttal at the end after the defense rests, but there are some tactical advantages. I've particularly never exercised this, but it is an option you do have if you are on the defense side. So Darrell did get up, and it was very interesting to watch. So I think it's very worth watching. I think it's worth watching again. I had to leave and I was away for a little bit this afternoon as it started, but I think it's worth watching through again because it's not bad. It's not good, and it's very bad. He doesn't go rambling on and on about subject matter jurisdiction or are there any substantiated grounds? Is anything sustained or relevancies? None of that. Doesn't talk about anybody pulling a slick one or somebody trying to screw with him. But he does something even worse. And we'll kind of talk about that. And Danielle, I'm going to keep this here. I'm going to actually keep this ready to go because I think that will be very important to get to. All right. If you guys are ready, here is his opening.
Jurisdiction. They are not evidence, and you are to disregard them.
They're not presented as evidence. Just has yet to be proven for the record.
The jury will disregard the incorrect statements of the law that Mr. Brooks is stating.
Where's lawful law that is incorrect?
Mr. Brooks, please. I am going to read one instruction. Thank you, everyone. Please be seated. The defendant will now make an opening statement. The purpose of an opening statement is to give the defendant an opportunity to tell you what he expects the evidence will show so that you will better understand the evidence as it is introduced during the trial. I must caution you, however, that the opening statements are not evidence. With that, go ahead, sir.
Obviously, I don't have any rehearsed or well-prepared speech, so I'm just going to speak from the heart.
Okay, hold on. Patty, you're asking, is this still going? No. We took a break. This is all done. This is done earlier today, but I think we all need to see it. I guess I should have made that clear.
I would just like to first say that I want to bring to remembrance something I think everyone in this room has been taught pretty much as far back as we can remember, is that there's always two sides to every story. And for so long now, roughly a year, there's only truly been one side told of this story. And I've sat back and watched from countless narratives that's been put out there, the way this incident has been portrayed at times, and finally everyone getting a chance to get the full story.
Now, I will say in his case, he stood up. Very good. He took off his mask. Now, I understand. We all think he was just using the mask to try to hide his face. And it looks like it's clear that he was doing. But at least he stood and faced the jury like a man. Took his mask off. And this part's not too bad. And if you listen to a lot of defense opening arguments, and even at the ones his public defenders may have raised, you would have heard somebody probably mentioning these points. At least, there's two sides to every story. For the past year now, you've heard all kinds of stories and all kinds of theories. This trial itself, you've heard all kinds of stories and all kinds of allegations. So that part's fine. And, it would have been said far more eloquently by an attorney and would have been rehearsed. But this isn't too bad so far. But don't worry, it gets worse.
You won't hear me try to argue facts. The fact is that this incident was tragic, very tragic. That's not lost on me. Facts are that there's still a lot of people healing, a lot of families healing on both sides.
Is that something you really should bring up that, hey, listen, on my side, hey, we got troubles over here too? No, I really wouldn't be going down that road. That's not good. And to say, I'm not here to argue facts, well, that kind of puts the jury on notice. Hey, I'm going to try to bullshit you. I'm going to try to smoke and mirrors. I'm going to try to swindle you. I'm going to try to jerk you around. Now, maybe he didn't mean to say it that way, but that's one of those things where you need to rehearse. And you need to think about what you're going to say and think about how people are going to hear it. Because I've said this over and over and over and over and over again, and I will keep saying it. This is a sales pitch. Right now, Darrell Brooks is selling something. He's selling a theory. He's selling a theory that he did not intend to kill these people. He's selling that in the hopes that they buy that and then don't send him to prison for the rest of his life and give him the chance at some chance of parole, possibly. But he's not doing a good job at it because he hasn't prepared and he's not practiced this before. He's not done this before. I mean, this is the first time you're learning how to be a quarterback is in the Super Bowl in the fourth quarter with 2 minutes to go. This is not the first time you would have ever wanted to step out on the field and picked up a football, which is exactly what he's doing right now. So, once again, this is representing yourself is dangerous. Usually, at best, in the best of days, you've decided to pack your own parachute and jump out of a plane. But on a day like this, your life is on the line, your entire life. Not just, you might go to prison for a bit. He's going to go away forever if he loses. And he probably will lose. I don't see how he's going to win at this point.
And when I'm confident that the evidence will show, sorry, I'm getting a little emotional. When I'm confident that the evidence will show is that this incident was not planned. This incident was not intentional. And this incident was never even thought about.
That's good. Showing there's no intent. That's exactly what you need to say. But you're going to show that.
It's easy to I'm sorry. Just a second.
Now, yes, it's great to say this is not intentional. I didn't plan this. I didn't mean to do this. All right, great. You said there's two sides to every story. So that means you're going to give them the other side of the story. And it better be good. Now, this part here, is he really crying? I don't know. Some of you guys have said yes. A lot of you guys said clearly he's not. He's being manipulative, like he's been through the whole trial. Sure. I think this is a man who realizes he's hanging on to the what remnants of his life by fingernails, by just the edges of his fingernails, and he's slipping. And he might even realize he's already forlorn and he's done. That could easily be the case here, too. I mean, if I thought I was going away forever, there was nothing I could do, I might be upset and cry about it. I mean, certainly I'm not going to be happy. So I don't really know if this is fake or not. But is it really going to get you anywhere with the jury at this point? No. Now's not the time to cry, buddy. It's kick off. You got to get ready. You know, it's fucking game time, Darrell. Got to go. No more time for crying. You could be afraid before the fight. You could be afraid after the fight. But during the fight, man, you got to fight.
I think it's easy to look at the magnitude of something like this and form opinions. I think it's easy to disregard a lot of factors. And I think in reference to what I stated earlier, it's easy to forget the other side of the coin. There's been a lot of suffering involved in this incident. A lot. Obviously, with the families, with the community, and even the alleged defendant's family as well. There's been a lot of suffering. A lot of misunderstanding.
Now, this is where he's completely lost the plot. Like, okay, we get it. It's been rough on your side. And we also have heard you say already once, there's been a lot of suffering in this community. And I think if you're on the defense side, there's nothing wrong with acknowledging at the beginning of this, look, there's a lot of pain, there's a lot of heartbreak, and there's a lot of sorrow all over this community. And I think you have to acknowledge that a little bit. If I was defending, I would have to acknowledge that. I don't think you could get away with saying, oh, it's not there, or don't worry about it. Or if you don't address it, it's still there. And if you don't address it, people are going to recognize something's up. So I don't think there's anything wrong with addressing it right off the bat and mentioning it once, but now you keep harping on it. Coming back to it, this almost sounds like you're on the prosecution. You know, this community suffered. This community's been torn apart. It's been shattered. It sounds like he's going back to that well, and you can't. You mention it once, but if you keep hitting it and keep pointing it out, you know, you're beating that notion into those jurors' heads, because the more you say it, the more they hear it. And there's the rule of threes, that if you say something 3 times, it does take effect. It's kind of the preacher's rule. If you've ever listened to Jesse Jackson or Al Sharpton, they do it. But here, okay, mention it and move on. But also, don't go back to saying, oh, it's hard all around. Nobody gives a crap. Nobody gives 2 fucks, Darrell. Your family's suffering. They really don't. None of the jurors care. And they won't care at all going forward. You're accused of killing 6 people and injuring damn near 70 people. Nobody cares about your family. Nobody cares about your mom. Nobody cares about your baby moms. Nobody cares about your kids, your aunts, your uncles, brothers, sisters, anybody. Nobody cares about them. So you said it once, that's fine, but this is not how you're going to win. It's not how you're going to persuade anybody.
And I just want you to keep in mind everything that will be presented in its totality. Keep in mind. The power that you have. I believe that should escape your knowledge. This has been a long process for everybody.
You should have got your cries
What
out
I
before you
believe
stepped
is,
out there, man.
When it's time for you to make your decision, all of you, I believe that, and I pray that it's the right decision. That all the factors are weighed.
But what decision do you want them to make? Okay, they have to make a decision. You want them to make a decision. And that it's the right decision. But remember, this is a sale. You have to tell them, buy the product. Do the thing. So what do you need them to do, Darrell? Not guilty of murder. Not guilty of first-degree intentional homicide. If you really thought you were truly not guilty of everything, not guilty of all the charges. Or in this case, say, yeah, you know what? He might be guilty of manslaughter. Whatever it is, you have to tell them what you want. And the crying was okay maybe at first, but this is just tearing things apart for you. Got to get your cries out early, brother. You know, you wanted to be the big bad gangster, the big bad blood. Okay, well, bloods don't cry. Everybody wants to be a gangster until it's time to do gangster shit. And part of being a gangster is standing up there in front of a jury and banging it out. Not sitting up there crying and, I got a family too. Okay, great. That's not what gangsters do.
There's been a lot of words thrown out there about the alleged. A lot of speculation, a lot of ridicule. Words like demon. Words like monster.
Those should not be coming out of your mouth. Don't put those words out there. Now those words, the jury hears them. And if they hadn't thought this already, and obviously this is a foregone case, but it's just something to think about, guys. If you're selling, remember, this is sales. When you're trying to sell your product, you don't throw out words like, oh, you may have heard it's shitty, you may have heard it's not good. No, you don't throw that out there. You don't throw out there monster, murderer, terrorist, all those bad words. You don't associate yourself with any of them. You stay 20 miles away from those words. Once again, this is an idiot work as a wise man once told me, he's working without tools.
I know a lot of the time I've been before you see me with this mask on. Yeah, I've had my reasons for that. But I feel now is the time to, it's important that you see me for who I am. No mask for who I am. I think this is the moment for that.
Well, so far they've seen a guy wearing a mask, so it wasn't really for COVID reasons now. So you were doing that for what reason? Self-manipulation or whatever it was. But they've seen you wearing that mask, having some smart-ass, smug, asshole-ish gestures and face reactions. They've seen that for 2 weeks now. So they see who for you really are. They've already seen who you are. And the fact you didn't have the balls to show the jury your face, once again, it's sales. It's about who you are and what you're doing. A man who covers his face is seen as deceitful. And your reactions the entire time just being a straight asswipe. You haven't won anybody over, man. So everybody's it's time for the world to see you as you truly. Yeah, they see a petty little bitch.
I pray that your eyes and ears remain as open as possible. You understand that you alone decide this matter. The power is in your hands. All of you.
Oh, they're going to exercise that power. Don't you worry, honey. They know it.
To determine for yourselves what truth is.
I'm pretty sure they've determined the truth already.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, honey, they already know the truth. They're going to exercise that power judiciously. But that's it. Notice what he didn't do. He said, I didn't intentionally do this. Okay, fine. You haven't told us how or why you're going to show it or who's going to show us this. You haven't shown us anything. You haven't told us anything. So it's great to say, I didn't mean to do it. But how are you going to show that? Through who? And what are they going to say? Or what can they bring to the table? You left the jury hanging there. So That's all just out in one ear, out the other. Nothing to digest. So, good job, Darrell. Now, I will give him credit. He didn't spurg out. But that's just mainly for procedural grounds. This was a disaster. I mean, even Chandler Halderson's opening arguments were better than this. And his public defenders phoned it in and didn't do a good job at all. So, real quick, we're going to catch up on some of these. Rob Doris is telling Parallax, I would welcome it. I didn't do it, but he hasn't even gone that far. Well, he can't say I didn't do it. At least he's smart enough to know the jury's not going to buy that. He's going to have to buy, I didn't intend to do it. Not Brandon. Let's go for $9.99. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Oh, fuck my life. I have to listen to this degenerate again. Pass me one of your White Claws, please. Well, yeah, you're going to pass it. You have to drink it out of this tonight. Drink it out of your Brooks Coffee Company mug. Thank you for the super chat, though. Jim Satala. Jim, it's always good to see you. Glad you're getting things back to normal down there in Florida. Do you think it was just a coincidence this happened just days after the Rittenhouse verdict? If anyone in the jury thinks it's not a coincidence, he's fucked. Oh, I think a lot of people in that area. I mean, Waukesha is right down the road from Kenosha. They all know. And like I said, I know. You know, we know that he knows. And he knows that we know that he knows. So, yeah, everybody knows, but nobody wants to say it out loud. That's why the media is quiet about this case. About to Bust says he's crying because someone said, get that butt. Oh, yeah, somebody is going to be getting that butt. Michelle, I think the crying is a manipulation tactic? Like I said, it very well could be. With him, you don't know. Certainly, possibly. Rick Nikita for $20. Thank you for the super chat. The Emperor protects, but not him. Oh, very true. Very true. He is outside the Emperor's warming embrace. Bass for $1.99. Thank you for the super chat. He is selling his worn ball joint, and the worn tie rod and the oversized tire. Yeah. Yep. Jim says again, they'll see him for who he is, a woman beating murderer who makes shitty rap videos. Yes. And I promise tonight I'm not going to bring them up. I won't do that to you guys. Then Matthew Self says, beta. Yes, he's very much a beta. You guys mentioned there is an issue. Mr. Kirby, the first guy who was called up. We'll look for that real quick. I wasn't aware of this, but I definitely want to see it. Oh, here we go. This is interesting. Okay, so Nicholas Kirby was the first guy Darrell Brooks called up today. Now, he did have a prior witness, the Mr. Marquez, the guy who only spoke Spanish. That was one of Darrell Brooks's witnesses. They called him out of order because that was the time when they could have the interpreter there. So that's not abnormal. Sometimes that happens. That's, trials just try to, flow forward like that. This guy didn't help at all. This didn't help at all. And I've mentioned this before, and I know other people have too. But sorry, I was trying to catch up to you guys and make sure you guys, you guys are like chugging along here with all your comments. Thanks. Not Brandon Lesko says, I think Sean could shotgun a ton of claws. Well, hey, you guys know what to do to make that happen. I can just say that, it's pretty colors in the chat make the world go round. Oh, you're right, Stabby. The first witness he called today was the state of Wisconsin. And the state of Wisconsin was not present. So, yes, I'm sure he's going to try to call that as a way to get out of here. But this guy, Nicholas Kirby, was the first person he called. And Darrell Brooks really focused on with him this whole idea of what happened at the park. And this is the guy who told the police, hey, domestic violence situation. Darrell Brooks is in it. Darrell Brooks is a bad guy. You guys need to get him. And one of the theories is that because of this, Brooks got all mad and flustered and scared and then drove through the parade and ran everybody over. That this was the first domino to fall. Well, Brooks has him up there, and Brooks is trying to relitigate the whole issue of the domestic violence, which, because Brooks is an idiot, but also he's never done a criminal case before, he's focusing on that. And for some reason, if he can vindicate, I didn't do any domestic violence, you still killed a bunch of people. You not committing domestic violence does not absolve you from all the people you ran over. But once again, he's a bit of an idiot. He's street smart and conniving and manipulative, but he's not super intelligent. And this guy, Nicholas Kirby, actually gave an interview. I have not seen this yet, so let's listen.
Well, first of all, what was it like just being called to testify for Brooks's defense?
Honestly, trying to hold back a lot of rage. Took a lot not to want to jump over the table.
Is there any doubt in your mind that he's guilty?
He's absolutely 100% guilty, but this delayal process that he's trying to do and pick apart scenes bit by bit and fraction by fraction is not going to help him whatsoever.
What do you think? I mean, just based on the questions that he...
Okay, I'll give Mr. Kirby credit. Yeah, that's very true. Yes, he's just stalling for time, and he's picking things apart and thinking, oh, this, I've made the joke before, and I keep on saying it. He would walk up to I guarantee he'd walk up to a witness and say, well, this pen I was using at the time that was in my pocket, did it have black ink or blue ink? You don't know? Oh, case must be dismissed. This isn't valid claims now. Now, yes, I understand Nicholas Kirby may be a cheese pizza connoisseur or like people a little young, but I'm not going to get into that because here he came up there and basically acted as a prosecution witness against Darrell. So, hey, he's doing God's work today, at least.
Asked you today, what do you think his defense is? It's very unclear at this point.
His defense isn't unclear to me. His defense is delay and confused. That's all he's doing. He's trying to use what was first said to me right after a traumatic event happened to where at that point, which all my thoughts were jumbled when I was giving my statements to the detectives. I still had a lot of stuff going through my head at that point in time when I was talking to those detectives. And I think he tried to take advantage of that and realized that he couldn't.
When you encountered him by the SUV with Eric.
And the thing that he was trying to take advantage of there is, it sounds like Nicholas may have mentioned something that he had suffered an injury to his hand from a knife from somebody previously. And for some reason, that got lost in translation to Darrell Brooks had a knife, and therefore he had a weapon. Once again, the fact he didn't have a weapon and the fact he didn't commit domestic violence, you still have to explain, why did you kill 6 people? 6 people, you ran them down. And then the other 70 or so people you almost killed and severely injured. You have to explain that. And saying, well, I didn't have a knife. Case dismissed. No, you don't get to pull the leg out. It's not like it's a Jenga tower and you can pull out those blocks at the bottom, the initial allegations, and the whole thing falls. No. This is this is not, it's not constructed that way. You take away that part at the beginning, you're still driving through a crowd, running people over. Instead, think of it like a movie reel. Instead, he's lopped off the beginning. Well, now him running over the crowd is at the beginning. There's still no excuse for it.
And Corey, what was going through your mind then? Was it a scary situation just for you being in his presence?
No, it wasn't scary for me being in his presence. I've faced guys like him before in my life. I was more worried about Erica. I was more worried about Corey. I never for a second thought that this man would drive down a parade route. All I told him was, you need to leave. The police have been called. You need to get out of here. And like I told Court TV, and like I will tell everyone till the day I die, to everyone who is suffering from this, I feel like this is my fault. Because I told him he needed to leave. I feel like he may have panicked in that moment when it was a very scary moment for him. And when he heard the sirens, he knew law enforcement was coming and he took a wrong direction. But if he ultimately did make that decision to take human life, then that's on him.
Now, I will say, like I said, you guys may not like him for what he's done in his past, but That would be a horrible thing to live with, that you try to protect somebody who you thought was a friend, somebody you thought you're doing the good thing. And I mean, that would be, I mean, think about that. You did something you thought was the right thing. And then this happens. You call the police to stop what you think is a bad guy, but he gets away and does something absolutely heinous because you tried to get the police involved. You know, I don't know who you are, but that's gotta weigh on anybody. And like I said, you may not like him, maybe he did something, who knows exactly. But that's a horrible burden to have on you. I mean, you know, you can tell yourself all the time, I didn't do it, it's not my fault, but you can tell with this guy. I mean, aside from any of the other issues he's got going on, that's something that's going to probably haunt him till the day he dies. So that was, and his testimony was very interesting because he was very much not afraid of Brooks, not subject to his manipulation and BS. And you could see it. And through the end of the trial today, when Brooks got into a fight with the district attorney, you could tell he's not afraid to go after women, but he backs down against men because he's a punk. And yeah, it was it's very interesting, and I'll give him, like I said, I'll give him credit that, you know, this isn't his fault, and at least he understands that.
The regret that I have is that I didn't do something more. I would have put my life in danger and had my life taken in order to save every single one of those people. And that's something I can't do anymore because now he's locked up.
When you said you live downtown, right? So, I mean, this was impactful to you just as a resident of Waukesha.
Yes, it was.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
So yeah, that's, like I said, guys, that's not pleasant. That's some rough stuff. And I forget who was it mentioned it. Let me see here. Daniela, thank you so much for mentioning that. That's pretty powerful crap. Very powerful. Very, very powerful. Trying to scroll through here real quick. There are some other. Matthew Self for $2 saying that was pretty much a victim impact statement. Yeah, from Darrell Brooks, that was an impact statement. Like I said, it made no sense. Rob Dorr says, yes, I took off my mask. I am a hero. Very true. That's kind of the vibe I got as well. Axios for $9.99. Thank you for the super chat. The state of Wisconsin is an energy field created by all living things. It surrounds us and penetrates us. It binds the galaxy together. Yes, the state of Wisconsin is the force. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yes. So tomorrow, what's going to happen? Well, I am on, and we're going to do the whole day. They're going to start at 8:30 their time, which is Central Time. If you live in the East Coast, it's Eastern Standard Time is 9:30. If you live in the mountains, I guess like 7:30. And if you live out west, I think that's 6:30. I don't really care. But we're going to watch it from beginning to end. The goal tomorrow is to blow through the rest of his witnesses. The district attorney has already made it clear they think they can get it done, which is their way of hinting at, we're not likely going to cross-examine these people for more than a minute or two at a time. So we'll blow right through all of them. Now, Darrell has said that one of the witnesses is going to take quite a while. And there was some bullshit games that he tried to play, but it became very clear right away. Who's he going to talk about? He's going to be talking to Erica Patterson, his ex-girlfriend, the woman at the heart of all of this. The woman he was trying, the woman was at the DV shelter, the woman he came down, harassed and drugged through town, did all this crazy crap to. He's going to bring her up. And why? Because he's going to abuse her and torment her and put her through all of it again. That's all he wants to do. It's not like she's going to reveal anything important. But that's what he's going to do tomorrow with her. It's going to be the longer of the witnesses, so it should be interesting. I think the world's going to see even how much of a bigger piece of shit he is. But yeah, this is a man. I think he realizes he's gone. He's going away forever, and he's just going to cause as much more emotional damage as he can. Michael C says Brooks is responsible for his own actions. Sure, he is. But I think if you're Nicholas Kirby, it's going to get rough because had you not done what you did, he might not have run around like that. Graham says, is Brooks going to give an elocution that sounds like an opening statement? Perhaps he got the two confused. He may have. I mean, remember, Brooks is an idiot. Brooks is 100% an idiot. Like I said, he may be manipulative. He may have some street smarts, but when it comes to actually doing something outside of hustling or being a wannabe gangster, I don't really think he's got any skill sets there. Lojoy for £5 sterling. The King's sterling. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I appreciate the support. It's me, Josie says, will he take the stand? I think he's going to because I think he's too much of a he's got some narcissism issues, and I think he's going to take the stand. I don't see him not. But remember, it's also said so far, I didn't do it, guys. Listen to me. I didn't do it. But if he didn't do it, you have to explain why it happened. And these witnesses aren't going to be able to explain why it happened. The police officer from the Wisconsin State Patrol said the car was in functional working order, minus all the damage it suffered in the attack and then the subsequent driving through tree stumps. So he's going to have to explain what happened. Was it an accident? Was there this person in the back with a knife attacking him? Did he get scared? Whatever it is, he's going to have to talk about it. Because if he just isn't like a bump on a log, I mean, he's really screwed. But to get this idea that it was manslaughter or maybe second-degree homicide, he's going to have to show that stuff. And yeah, he may be dumb enough to realize, well, I don't know what to do, and then he just sits there and gets convicted, sure. But I think he's going to have to take the stand for those reasons. But also, he's a narcissist. This guy loves hearing himself talk. This is another way for him to draw it out. And he could go up there and say, yeah, I did, and I enjoyed all of it, and I want to go do it again, just to cause more harm and pain. Maybe he'll do that. Who knows? Because he certainly has not shown himself to be a sympathetic person or an empathetic person at all so far. I think we can all agree. So I think we'll see that. Sky Queen says my favorite number is 90611. Yes. And for those of you who have heard it being mentioned, the judge has the ability to restrict examination under 906.11 of the Wisconsin statutes. That's given a power given to the judge to do that. And that's why if you heard me, I was saying, this is brought to you by 906.11 the Axe. Getting rid of the stupidity on the airwaves. I was trying to say it like it's a shitty rock and roll station, but that's what I was making fun of, and that's what I was talking about. So that's there. And then for Not Brandon Lesko for $49.99, ain't no laws when you're shotgunning claws. Yeah, that's very true. And I mean, I guess if we're doing it, right? I haven't shotgunned one of these before, but we'll see. It's very seltzery, so I don't know how it's going to work. Oh, there we go. Oh. Woo. Well, that was a lot of fun. Hadn't done that before. God. Woo. I'm not sure I want to do that again. That's a lot of seltzer in me. Oh, jeez. I feel like I'm going to, wow, it felt like I was going to explode for a second, like right here. I could feel the seltzer building up. Oh. Also, we got a new member today, Madcore Mofo. Hey, man. Hey, brother. Thanks for being a member. I appreciate it. Thanks for the support. Guys, if you don't know Madcore, he is a guy who lives in Australia. He's a YouTuber, also Twitch guy. So he's upside down in the future. Go give him a look. You might like what he's got going on. It's always very, very entertaining. And sometimes I come on and we hang out. So definitely give him a look. Matthew Sell for $2 says, do you love black people? Tribal Queen 905 says, what does he want to be called? Oh, hold on. Lee Lancaster says, remember to like the stream even though he's from Ohio. Aw, thanks. What does he want to be called? Well, the issues are, and this was happening earlier in the trial yesterday. He said, I don't want to be called by that name, the all capital letters name. And the judge said, okay, fine. If I called you in all lowercase letters, would that work? And then he said, no. So once again, I've said this before with these sovereign citizens, you will never appease them. If you do everything they want, they'll pick apart something else and say, well, that's not right. That's not right. If you've proven subject matter jurisdiction to fully the way he wants it, he would then probably turn around and say, well, you haven't done it all the way, or you're still missing something. So yeah, it's never going to work that way. Diablo Rojas says, do you think he's going to cry like a little bitch when he's found guilty? I actually think he's going to lose it when he's found guilty. He's going to get pissed. I think he's going to get very, 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 very mad. So let's see here. CC Shelby saying, how many doors do you think legally he will open when he makes Erica testify? Okay, so you guys have heard the term, if you've been watching the trial, opening the door. If a topic has been off limits, and generally it's defense induced, or sometimes there's a topic that a prosecution witness has been put off limits, but sometimes the prosecutor opens it up, or based upon the testimony gets opened up. For example, Darrell Brooks' prior interactions in domestic violence, his criminal record, is not admissible. It cannot be told to the jury. Why? Because it's highly prejudicial and has no bearing on the case. But let's say Darrell Brooks gets up there and asks, Erica says, well, you know about my prior criminal record, right? Well, now she can answer yes, because he's brought it up. He's opened the door, proverbially speaking. So when you've heard that said repeatedly, that's the doors they're opening. Oh, I'm sure he will. I'm sure he's going to get lost in trying to belittle her and screw with her. He's going to step all over his dick. The domestic violence is going to come in. The fact he probably raped her and, sexually assaulted her when she was 15 and got her pregnant. Oh, I'm sure it's all coming in. Because he's, like I said, he's an idiot. And he'll screw it up. Oh. So, yeah, we'll see. Rob Dorr says, I want a 90611 the Axe FM mug. I'll work with you on that. That might be funny too. Yes, Squirt. Yeah, so that's gonna. It didn't get too far. It's not too bad. There's a little bit of a mess on my desk, but that's okay. Yes, let's go. I told you guys, this isn't the whiskey sipping channel. This ain't the whiskey sipping channel. I'm a man of the people. Hear attack incoming. No, there's so much of the carbonization was just sitting right there. I couldn't burp it out. It was bad. Lily Lou says, just tuned in. I'm like, yeah, great. That's great. That is great. On your shirt. That's what she said. Yes, the bubbles were bad. The bubbles were bad. Of course, says, oh my God, this was another 5 members. Yeah. All right. I got to catch up. Matthew Sell for $2 says, do an N-word stack in your chat. I think we can. No, we don't do those on here. This is follow the rules. There's no racism in this channel. It's one of the other big rules. All right. So the next thing I think I wanted to cover. This one this one I think is really sad. Oh, holy cow, he has? Magcore, you've been giving out memberships, man? Thank you very much. That's really awesome of you. Yeah, thank you. You gave out 5 more? Hell yeah, thank you. I know everybody appreciates it who gets one. So, guys, if you get one, make sure you tell Magcore thank you very much. Yes, George Alvarez, no matter what you would offer him, he would say, is this verified proof? Is this a lawful law? Thank you for your comment, DB. I appreciate it. So this is a very interesting article that I found, and it is from the Northwest Arkansas Democrat Gazette. So we're in Arkansas now. An Arkansas ethics panel advises suspension for Pope County District Judge Don Bourne. This is from back in August, and I saw this and I forgot about bringing it up, but I do think it's worth talking about. A judicial disciplinary panel, and that's something to think about. When it comes to discipline for judges, they are governed by their Supreme Court and bar, or however attorneys are governed, but they're governed by a separate group involved in that. Because they are governed, they're held to a different standard. They have the rules of professional responsibility, yes, but they have what are called judicial canons they have to follow. It's not like a cannon you can shoot, but it's a canon. They're called canons that they have to follow. And they recommend spending without pay after he violated ethical conduct. He made statements at defendants and failed to appoint defense attorneys for defendants who couldn't afford legal counsel. And that is something under the Sixth Amendment you're entitled to. If you are facing any possible jail time, you are entitled to have legal representation if you cannot afford it. If you are indigent under Gideon v. Wainwright, you are entitled to have a public defender or a court-appointed attorney. That's settled law. That's been settled law for decades. Now, there are times where you do get an attorney, such as in children's services cases, for example, if your children are taken from your home. Because you have a interest in your children. That's about the only other time you would get court appointed that's not risking any jail time. So the Arkansas Supreme Court, for 90 days, they suspended him for 90 days of inappropriate demeanor on the bench, with 75 held in abeyance for a year on the condition the judge followed remedial measures, meaning ultimately he's only serving 15 days of naughty time. So he got a 2-week vacation. So when we learn about this is something I think is absolutely horseshit what this judge did. It's complete bullshit what this judge had done to people. The first violation was that he had a pattern of injudicious conduct towards defendants. What he included upon their appearance, their residency, and the ethnicity of people who appeared before the court. Well, if you don't want people to think that you're going to be an impartial bench, this is a great way to do it. But you have a duty to be impartial and fair to everybody who comes before you. Otherwise, what good are you as a tribunal? If you're a judge and everybody knows you're an asshole, and you're not going to give people a fair shake, why would people even want to obey the law or listen to you? I'm sure that didn't cross his mind. Then he's done other bullshit things like here, telling a Spanish-speaking defendant they need to learn English if they were going to live in his county. Okay, fine. You may think that if you want to live in America, you have to learn English. Sure. But in the legal system, you are entitled to a right and a protection regardless of who you are. You could be visiting here from Timbuktu, and you have all the same rights under the 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendment that I have. But this judge apparently didn't seem to think so. In one instance, he told a defendant, if you were a good employee, you wouldn't have been laid off. Oh, go fuck yourself, you cocksucker. Fuck you. Yeah, it's easy when you're the judge making money. I mean, yeah, go be poor somewhere else. I am surprised people in your neighborhood didn't slit the tires on your car, because that is just top tier scumbaggery. I mean, that was just awful. And then the second count was failing to follow the law by properly assessing a defendant's ability to pay for counsel. The worst thing he did to people was he would review their cases and say, "You're probably not going to get a lawyer. You probably don't qualify." And he'd tell people, "Go get a job." That's great. That's great. I understand you don't get to be Archie Bunker and be on the bench. Sorry. These people have constitutional rights. You have to protect them. If you won't do it, then what the hell good are you for? I mean, it's absolute bullshit. Absolute bullshit. At least he owned up and said, yeah, they were inappropriate. He only did that after he got caught. And then before becoming a judge, he served 6 years as the chief deputy prosecutor. Imagine that. I'm sure that didn't affect how he handles things. Think of all the people he fucked with, so many people and their rights in so many ways. God, imagine how many cases he's ruled upon. And he served over 20 years as a district court judge. Over 20 years, I'm sure he's been fucking with people for 20 years. This didn't just happen out of nowhere. And he still gets to be a judge. Absolutely fucking travesty. Now, I know some of you might say, hey, Sean, you live in the Cleveland area. What about that judge that's going all over the news that got in trouble? I'm not going to comment on that one. That's in the pool. That is a pool I swim in, and I'm not going to pee in it intentionally. So I'm certainly not going to do that here. If you wanted to get the dirt on that, go talk to attorneys in Cleveland, and they'll tell you everything you want to know. But I am not going to do that here on YouTube. That is not. I don't think that's professional, and I don't think that's just a good idea. Period. So. Matthew Self says for $2, are you coming on Nick tonight? Please wipe. I don't know. If Nick wants me on, he can send me a text if he wants me on, but it's his show. I don't even know what's scheduled for tonight on his show. So, I mean, that's entirely up to him. And I just don't, and I've mentioned this before, but I don't go knocking on the doors just because I think that's kind of an ingratiating thing. And, that's just not how I roll. But if he has me on, sure, it'll be fun. We can talk, make fun of Darrell together. Matthew Self for $2 more. I offered a proof. Yes. Well, hold on. Is this sustained proof? What kind of proof is it? Is it lawful proof? Is it unlawful proof? Are there grounds? Are there relevancies in this proof? I mean, that's important. Those are important questions, Matthew. You can't just be offering proof up like that, especially if it's about the truth. I mean, you got to be careful, man. Just the proof ain't enough. Thank you for that super chat, man. Yes. Oh, wow, this does show up. Okay, cool. Matt Gore, thank you for the 10 gifted memberships. Thank you. I know that everybody's going to appreciate that. Just, wow, you guys are like chatting away. I'm trying to catch up. I appreciate that, but it's hard to keep up at times. Yeah, Rob Doris says, yeah, it's been case law since the 1850s. All persons under the jurisdiction of the United States get due process. Yes, they get due process, but it wasn't until Gideon v. Wainwright that it was guaranteed under the law you were entitled to representation. For a long time, the court said, yeah, you have a Sixth Amendment right to counsel. Go hire one. We can't stop you. But it took the Supreme Court to say, look, you have to appoint people to represent them or have a public defender's office. And it's very interesting, Gideon v. Wainwright. Kurt covers it. Clarence Gideon was an indigent man who got fined and sent to jail for a crime. And he represented himself all the way to the Supreme Court. In fact, he hand wrote his certiorari petition on notebook paper. And it's actually preserved, and you can read it. It's a very interesting part of history. So we'll get to somebody here mentioned Rob did too. Oh, geez. You guys are going crazy out there. Rob, thank you very much. 10 super chats. I understand, or 10 memberships. I'm sure everybody out there who receives one is going to be very appreciative of it. So thank you very much for doing that. And if you get one from Rob, please make sure to say thank you. Lowjoy saying, what do we think about the judge wanting to plow through all Darrell's witnesses tomorrow? Will it happen? Yeah. I think it's a good idea. Let's knock him out. Did Legal Mindset get a strike real quick? RN said, yes, he did. It's for an old video. Lee says, I need to hook up with Fudbusters. Yeah, I'm working on that. Kurt did a video about Clarence Gideon. Yes, he did. And I think it's a very good video. Kurt's really good at those. And then this one's a little more serious of a note, but it is, this is the swan song of, I think, Russiagate. And if you thought something was going to happen to the Durham investigation. So the primary source for the Trump dossier was acquitted today. And this is Igor Danchenko. He is a Russian guy. I know, Russia. Oh, no. And he was prosecuted by John Durham, who was supposed to be the ooga booga. I'm going to go after everybody. And I do think Robert Barnes has corrected his assessment at the beginning. Durham is a bagman. He's meant to clean up all the loose ends. And he did. And if you guys notice, who actually got in trouble for all the stuff in Russiagate and the FISA warrants? One attorney, Kevin Kleinsmith from the FBI. And he pled out to a low-level felony, got probation, and got his law license suspended for 6 months effectively. So nothing really happened to anybody. Now, who is Igor Danchenko? He worked with Christopher Steele, the former British spy, who put together that dossier that said Trump was a Russian asset and talked about the P tapes. Well, it was very clear early on that it was all bullshit. But why did it take so long for Danchenko to get investigated? Well, because Durham had to do it. In the meantime, the FBI had made him a confidential source to protect him. Why? Because they're laundering their evidence. Well, eventually he was interviewed by Durham through the FBI. And what happened? Well, he was charged with 4 counts of lying to FBI agents. An 18 USC 1001 charge, which you've heard a lot of people getting in trouble for. But guess what happened when this guy tried his case in the D.C. District Court? Well, Igor Danchenko was acquitted Tuesday of 4 counts of lying to the FBI. Gee, I'm not surprised. I mean, is there any justice in this world? I mean, he flat out lied. He helped make up the entire thing. It was interviewed by the FBI about it. He's like, no, it's real. And then the FBI went out and got the FISA warrants, even though they knew it was all bullshit anyway. They still did it. And he lied. And he didn't get convicted. I mean, is there any fucking justice in this world? Danchenko was a Russian expatriate who provided the bulk of the material for the anti-Trump dossier that Christopher Steele produced. And initially, he was charged with 5 counts, but last Friday, the judge threw out one of them. The jury deliberated for about 9 hours. And the verdict means that they weren't persuaded that Danchenko lied about his contacts to be a source of the dossier. The largely discredited dossier. I'm glad we mentioned that it's discredited now, because if you've read it, it reads like a crappy spy novel. Was a collection of unverified allegations compiled by a retired washed-up spy who was indirectly funded by Hillary Clinton's campaign. Yeah. Jeez, isn't it kind of weird, like how that all just comes out now as a paragraph and not as, allegations of it? But that is the end of it, really. That is the end of what's going on. So, yes, the agents talk about everything that came up empty. Jurors were shown portions of Steele's memos where he said they were never meant to be public, they were meant to be confidential, and that there was a well-developed conspiracy theory of cooperation between Trump and the Russians. But it turns out that was all bullshit. Yes, Durham was also using this case to put the FBI on trial, which was going to be part of his upcoming report, which isn't going to say anything. Oh, the FBI was dumb. They got taken in. So, yeah, that's it. But yes, the FBI once scrutinized him as a counterintelligence threat, but later paid him as an informant because then they could protect him and hide him once they realized he lied. So, yeah. I do think it's interesting, though, that Danchenko's FBI handler says that Danchenko is a treasured FBI informant and that suggesting that Durham hurt the U.S. national security by indicting him. Yes, a treasured informant who lies for money. Yes, that's who you want as an informant. Well, remember, it's the FBI, so hee. But yes, if you guys were wondering what's going to happen with Russiagate and the Durham investigation, this is it. Nothing's going to happen. Nobody's getting in trouble. And Durham rides off into the sunset, retires. So, in case you were wondering, yeah, there is no, oh, we've got him or anybody else gets in trouble. Monad says, did I see the West Virginia judge who searched the dude's home? The civil rights lawyer covered it. Yes. Yes, I did. I watched that. That's might cover that on my own. I actually trying to reach out to him. I know he's super busy, but I'd like to talk to him, see if he'd ever come on. I know he's kind of big time though. WrestleTown says the lesson is don't make old videos. Rob Dory, you're saying I think the prosecution is going to forego cross to get shit done. Oh yeah. Yes. Okay, let's see here. Trying to catch up. Petty Letter says Danchenko's a foreign spy, belongs in Gitmo. Yeah, Dr. Mimo, you're right. And Robert Barnes is right, and I kind of got that feeling from the start too. Durham wasn't there to expose the plot, he was there to cover it up. And he has. He's helped. He's whitewashed it a little bit. Yeah, whether people who still sit in jail inside the District of Columbia. Ha! Yay, democracy. Julia543 says, oh, you're on Emily Baker and she pulled up your chat and said it seemed like he's going to go down with Draco and Photo Chad. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know if you want to put Draco and Photo Chad in the same category with this guy for Nicholas Kirby. Yeah, that'd be rough. Yeah, the Mithril King says, yes, a guy got 3.5 years for sitting in Mike Pence's chair or Nancy Pelosi's chair. And the guy who carried out the lecture and got in trouble. Yeah. But apparently you can lie and kick off this whole thing. I mean, he's literally the guy who went like this, boop, ticked the dominoes over, lit the matches. Oh, but what happens to him? Well, nothing happens to him. He gets to ride off into the sunset. I mean, what kind of justice is there in this world? What kind of justice is there? Savvy Sue says abolish the Fed. 100%. Wrestler Town says all federal trials need to take place at a random jurisdiction in a U.S. state. Well, I think maybe it takes at a random location in that state. Because I don't want people in Connecticut deciding on something that happened in Texas. Maybe that's what you meant, but as long as it's in the same state, I'm fine with that. Yeah, they pick a random courthouse. Hey, we're having the federal trial here. Okay, that could work. Deeply disturbing pick. Yeah, guys, I can't control all that. Yes, HM, the Federal Bureau of Incrimination. Oh. Tweety, tweeting U.S. News, a West Virginia judge searched someone else's home. Oh, yeah. The civil rights attorney, civil rights lawyer, it's YouTube channel. Very interesting story. Highly, highly fucked up. But in the end of the day, this judge is going to get burned down. So good for that. That's the good news. Peck, the official, said Baked Alaska got acquitted? God damn, that's awesome. I'm super surprised. Potentially criminal. Your eyes are starting to glow. Oh. Yes, I was going to mention that, Jim. That's going to be a video I'm doing. Plan on recording probably tomorrow night or early Saturday and getting out. Yes, because I don't want to talk too much about that yet. But yes, that's a horrible bullshit thing. Yes, Fed. He was also a Fed. Yeah, if he got acquitted, I'd like to think it was legit. But yeah, I think he is a Fed informant. But we'll find out. Dwayne Wansell, it's John Bryant. He's a real attorney, actually practices law. I actually practice law too. I had to leave the stream to go practice law, and I came back. But yes, he primarily does civil rights litigation. Baked is 100% a spook. Yeah, I'm kind of convinced now. The last thing I think we have to talk about is Keiser Soze. You may know him by a different name. But yes, the great Keiser Soze. I really think Kevin Spacey is meant to be Keiser Soze. So this isn't a criminal case, but it just goes along with everything Kevin Spacey has been involved in. Kevin Spacey was in a civil trial. I don't care about American Airlines. He was accused of molesting a person in 1986, another actor. Now, obviously, you guys might not realize Kevin Spacey's actually kind of old. He's in his 60s. So in the 86, he would have been a lot younger. So he was one of the lawsuits that had kind of blew things up for him because if you guys remember, Kevin Spacey's had a lot of allegations come out lately. They killed him off in House of Cards, and it's really ruined a lot of stuff for him. But we've also found out, yeah, Kevin Spacey's a little sketch, just a little bit. But yes, he was in a civil suit, and this is one of the major lawsuits. They found out, the jury determined he did not sexually abuse Anthony Rapp, who was 14. The verdict apparently came at lightning speed, and the jurors at a federal courthouse in New York deliberated for little more than an hour. Oof. So, yes, now, surprisingly, Anthony Rapp didn't die because that's been a very common thing with people accusing Kevin Spacey. If you've been involved with him, you have a chance of, like, dying in a weird way. So I wonder I wonder how long Anthony Rapp survives. So Spacey, who was 26 at the time, picked him up, and Spacey was like wasted and assaulted him. Spacey though told the jury it never happened and that he would never be attracted to somebody who's 14. By the way, if you didn't know this, Kevin Spacey is gay, and yes, the Anthony Rapp is seeking $40 million in damages. It's interesting, though, these guys now from 1986, Rapp is 50 and Spacey's 63. And this is a 3-week trial. So we shall see what happens to Kevin Spacey. And yes, and he maybe gets, House of Cards is done, so who knows what's next for him. And we will find out what happens going forward. Spacey had the issues of Massachusetts that he grew up to ban at a bar. Those allegations got dropped. He does currently have a case in London where he's accused of sexually assaulting 3 men over a 10-year period when he was in charge of a theater in London. So that's still ongoing. Now, do I think that's probably going to go anywhere? I doubt it. But you never know. Maybe he does time in a British prison. So, That is really it. But yeah, he's Keiser Soze, man. He gets out of he's getting out of everything. It's almost like he doesn't exist. Just like in Usual Suspects. I just thought that was very interesting. He got away with it. Tweety says Spacey reminds me of Jeffrey Dahmer. Ross Wolf says bought off. That very well could have been. Very well could have been. I can't say that for sure, and I wouldn't want to say that. Spacey's a soft sit. Wait, what? Yes, Patty Leather says he came out as gay when he was accused of rape a couple years ago. Yes. And that's a very good way to diffuse a rape allegation. Well, I can't rape you. I'm gay. So, oh, let me see here. He played in House of Cards too long. Ha 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 ha. Yes, that is the thing. Kevin Spacey is a very good friend of the Clintons. So I didn't want to put it out there, but yeah, I have information that will lead to the arrest of Kevin Spacey is probably a good way to die too. Yes, like I said, Patty, Menem's accusers were killed. There's a video of a firefighter getting capped by the dude's girlfriend he was fighting. No charges. Huh. I can look for that real quick. JMM Barkovich says, Sean, do you realize Spacey was very good friends with that Jeffrey guy who totally didn't kill himself on my birthday a couple years ago? Yes. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. Third Railify says, what are the odds Spacey makes a comeback? Ooh. Maybe hopefully there's not any double entendre there because I'm assuming that's going to happen regardless. Ugh. 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 So let's see this thing here. Firefighter gets shot. Let's see here. Oh, okay. Let me see if this is. Oh, okay. Wow. Oh, God. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. We are definitely going to this one. We are definitely going to watch this for a second here. Okay. I don't know the full story behind this, but the news reporter is probably going to fill us in a little bit. Happened at Liquorland. That's always a great place to get in a fight with somebody. Liquorland. Our beer is colder than your ex's heart. That is a brilliant. That's a brilliant, brilliant motto. Brilliant slogan. But here we go. Here we go.
He stood up for her, and then a fist fight started.
Let it go! Let it go! Stop!
Cell phone video captured some of that fight between 41-year-old Anthony Santi and 23-year-old Javon Taylor.
Bro, what are you doing, bro?
Witnesses tell KNBC the fight may have lasted as long as 10 minutes.
Get out! My kids in the car! Stop! You can't!
Javon Taylor's girlfriend pulled out a gun and ultimately killed Anthony Santi. Now this afternoon, Jack ultimately killed Anthony.
Ooh. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's yeah, 10 minutes is a long fight, but oof. Yeah, yes, scream more, that will make it better, but yeah, I'm trying to find this real quick. I'm trying to find a different version of that. Um, let's see here. Trying to find. Wow, yeah, I'm trying to read the articles on this, guys. Okay, well,
Santee is on.
so here's interesting.
Cell phone video shows the end of what one witness says was a 10-minute confrontation. A witness says 23-year-old Javon Taylor insulted a female cashier. Then 41-year-old off-duty firefighter Anthony Santee stood up for her.
Okay, great. You're a grown man. You're getting into a fight because somebody insulted a cashier. Like, bruh. Like that's where you're gonna push your chips all in. Like, this is gonna be your moment where you're like, no, dude, all in, all my chips out on the table. We're gonna go for broke. That's what you're gonna push it all in for. Is some asshole giving a cashier a hard time. And then that dude or his girlfriend goes and gets a gun, and then you get smoked. You know, bravo, man. You know, I'm sure your family and everybody else who relies upon you is thinking, wow, that was really worth it at the end. It said insulted. Yeah, and it said he stood up for the cashier. It's like, great. You know, do you really need to be Captain Save-A-Ho? Yeah. When white knighting goes wrong. Jonathan, yeah, he should have let go when the gun came out. This is retarded. Yeah. Yeah, you guys. There was nothing gained by doing this. It was just completely stupid. Completely stupid. Never do that. Never ever do that. Yes, Toothless 420, you simp, you lose. Julia saying that, Sean, people have pointed about YouTube going to town. Be careful on all these things you're covering. I appreciate that, but you know, I'm up on Rumble. So okay, great. I can move. And guys, if something ever does happen to me, God forbid, you can always find me on potentiallycriminal.locals.com. I'll always have messages there. Or you can find me on Rumble or BitChute or Odyssey. You can always get to the Discord as well. I know that's pinned. That's always available. Half Irish says, maybe the asshole boyfriend shouldn't have been a dick. Yes, but here's the thing, Half Irish. When you are a grown man and you decide to get into a fight, you better either be prepared to kill that guy and go to prison for it, injure him, go to prison for it, get severely injured, maybe still go to prison, or get killed yourself. Was this guy willing to get killed over some cashier getting hassled? I bet if you would have asked him in hindsight now, he's like, no, I don't want to die. I'm sure he would have said, wow, I really wish I would have just like talked some shit and let the guy go. But he wanted to fight. I mean, he wanted to bump nuts. So they bumped nuts, and you know, the guy's girlfriend got involved. You know, Patty, you still have the chance to walk away. Always walk away. De-escalation and avoidance are the best self-defense tools you have. Better than any gun or any fighting style. Is it worth getting into a fight over this? Is it worth going to prison for or getting killed? You have to ask that every time. Is it? No, then just run your mouth and leave it alone. But to get to the fight where you got to do it on the ground like that and somebody else thinks you're killing him or choking him out, you better be prepared. That person might react as though you're killing the other guy. And are you willing to go the full distance? You know, he's holding him down like it's MMA camp and he's at his BJJ class. Okay, cool. But other people don't play that game. They go straight to going to grab the iron. And at that point, there's no guard position. They'll stop it. he probably didn't see the gun. Sure. But you need to be prepared. Like, are you prepared that you're going to fight a guy who is willing to go right to the gun, willing to right to go to the knife, or has a girlfriend who's got to go grab the heater out of the car? Are you prepared for that? Because it doesn't matter that that may be illegal or improper. They're going to stab you or shoot you. Or they grab a baseball bat and they crack your skull open. Oh, that's illegal. Great. You're still dead or severely disabled. You know, you could say, like, I did the right thing as you drool in a wheelchair. Doesn't really help anybody. I'm sure your family's going to appreciate that when they have to care for you, and then you have to sell your house to go move you guys into a nursing home. Once again, gotta think this shit all the way through. Rob is saying, I teach permit carry classes in Minnesota. I tell my students, whenever you get involved, ask yourself, is this worth going to jail or dying for? Yeah. You got to ask that all the time. Jim said it looked like he was just holding him down, wasn't striking him or anything. Yeah, at the end, though, it looks like he did get him in a headlock. But either way, if the other person, like, running around screaming, like, he looked up and could see she had a gun, bro, you need to be getting back and getting away. Because you know what? You're not going to win the argument with a crazy woman screaming, you're killing him, you're killing him. Especially if you're a big dude like that. No, you just got to get away. Got to get away. Kibbo Nice says Drex will be fun to talk about. Oh, I'm going to send this one to Drex. He's going to have that one. So, do I stream at the same time on Rumble? Yeah, I live stream at the same time, but this, I kind of got done late. I got set up late, so I didn't have time to set up a Rumble stream for this. So Rumble will automatically migrate my videos over and upload them. But no, tonight I did not live stream onto Rumble at the same time. Yeah, and you know, Clown World Resident, yes, this is all about the education purposes, guys. This is horrible. A guy's dead. His family and people are missing him. This woman had to kill a guy, and you may not like her and may think she's a horrible human being. Either way, she still had to kill a guy, watching her boyfriend get attacked while her kids are in the car. Those kids had to watch their mom dust some guy in a parking lot. I mean, imagine what that's doing to the kids. So once again, you have to make the educated decision. Do I really want to get into a fight right now? And I'm going to tell you, the answer is almost always going to be no. I'm going to buy my slushie and go home. That's almost always going to be the answer. Patty says, we don't know what happened. Does it really matter? That, like, you've seen the size of those two. That dude comes at you like, okay, so the little black guy attacks the big white guy, or reverse the races and roles, sizes. The little guy attacks the big guy, knock him the fuck out and go about your day. Boom, punch him, get him out of the way, or shove him down to the ground and just walk away. Like, do you really want to get involved like that? Any more than necessary to protect yourself? I mean, what the fuck was he going to do? Just hold the guy there till he gave up? Like, once you get up, you're going to have to deal with him still. Yes, Dwayne Mansell says it best. White knights don't always win. That was just, I think it was ridiculous. I want to know the missing parts. I mean, there's like they said, it started because it was he was insulting a cashier. That, I don't know how much more. Like, that's the starting point. What happens from there is you're playing asshole roulette and hoping you win. That's all that is at that point. I mean, you guys may not like it, but that's the reality of the world. People get killed for all kinds of dumb shit, and this is a dumb thing to get killed over. Of all the things, he's a fireman. All the things he could get killed doing. Fighting a guy at a 7-Eleven because somebody insulted someone else. That's what he died over. It's a waste of life. True waste. So yeah, that's really it for tonight, guys. Oh wow, hour and 40 minutes. Oh, Brian Schulte says, and now the USCCA ad. Oh, be careful about those guys. Those guys make me worried. Drex is visiting Nick tonight, so tonight is a Drex night. Ooh, that'll be a good one. I'm still going to get this to Drex, though, so he has it for later. So I am all done tonight, guys. That's pretty much everything. And that is it. So we're all caught up. Guys, we will be on the air at 9:30 tomorrow, probably a little bit, maybe a couple minutes early just to talk and hang out. And we'll get ready to see what the brilliant mind of Darrell Brooks is going to do. I'm sure he's going to turn it around because it can't get any worse. I hope. And let's see if he gets through everybody. Maybe he actually starts testimony himself tomorrow. That would be a real knee slapper. So, guys, listen, everybody tonight, thank you for being here. Thank you for everybody likes, everybody stuck around for the super chats, for all the members, everything. Guys, if you don't know, Legal Mindset did get a strike. If you guys like what he does, don't be afraid to go on a Twitter and say at Team YouTube, hey, why are we doing this? This is bullshit. Show him some love if you do. If you don't, that's fine. You don't have to. Certainly I do. I think it's wrong what they're doing. And I think it's entirely ridiculous how you can get dinged for stuff after a while. Like there's no cutoff point. There should be. Like if it gets a month old, how can you still keep dinging people for it? Because then there's no way to ever move forward. Because after you go for a long enough time, you could get dinged out for stuff you've said years and years ago, which is absolutely ridiculous. Free speech should be protected. And this is the public square now. Whether people like to believe it or not, it is. So that's it, guys. Anyway, have a nice night. Take care. I will see you in the morning. And remember, till next time, just because you did it doesn't mean you're guilty.